went to London. I went to Ichiru, the chairman of the 10th years. I said, we are 2011 class of university that was created by Jonathan. What are you going to do for us? I was doing this university, I also finished my channel. He said, so what do you want? I said, can you get headphone money to be able to put in place? I'm not a big of the children that can take 1,000 people and also a celebration. He said, it's very difficult. I said, but you will try. Fortunately, I think somebody also knows you. So we was able to talk to him. So we got a very big money that I was able to use that money for both the 1,000 seaters that is over there and this celebration. And we started one day, but because of my short research name, we would have completely finished before that. But for the glory of God, all of us are sitting comfortably here now. And I thank our God. It's one of those legacy that I'm leaving behind. And I'm satisfied. And I'm so happy. I'm fulfilled. I remember we used to do our celebrity in one of the Faculty of Science lecture center. And one day, Professor Oyawe just challenged me. He said, Prof, the bishop cannot be doing our celebrity now. It's not befitting. And then we should do something. And I prayed with him. I said, God, you see my heart. Can you do something to help? And God answered my prayer. In my quiet way, it was the best top prayer. But I didn't know that God answered. Today, it is fulfilled. All of us are sitting comfortably. We want to thank God for this. Now, start welfare. Wait a second. There was nothing like that when I came on board. Now, most of our staff lives in Ado. We have 2 buses dedicated to carry them from Ado to this place and back to Ado. Highly subsidized. Maybe if they are collecting 1,200, I think it was about 300 as transport fee. And then the same people, so that's about 600 instead of 2,004. So you can save a lot of money to do that farm. And they also try to fuel the vehicle. Apart the fact that we fuel every month to get a 500,000 to fuel the vehicle. And if there's any major problem with that, the bosses will make sure that we pay. We also need admission for biological staff, children. Now, if your child wants to study medicine, accounting, pharmacy, all we don't need to do is let him score minimum score that is good enough. You can be sure that your child will be admitted. And we have done that several times. And then we went further to say, okay, now we have done this. Can we also have a debate for staff children? We also gave a debate. I think it's 20% of people, I don't remember now. Our council agreed that all our staff whose children are in this them debate, I think that's 20%. So if you don't pay, and then we have to pay in a very easy way. Our school fees very affordable. Where medicine is about 800,000 in Epsom, our medicine here is at 289,000. Our board is about I don't know, 7 million or 6 million. So you can see in the same environment in the state, 4-year money for medicine is 289,000 the whole year per session. Our board is 7 million. Exu is 800 something thousand. Tell me, who don't want to come to Fuyi? Now, that was the problem last year when I was in league. I don't know, I think it's over. He wanted to start the one studying medicine. It was a big, the boys scored 84 point something, I don't remember now. And he went to the press, tried to Blackburn University, blah, blah, blah. I read it, I was in US, I was in China, I was in Houston. I went for my research. And when I saw it, I called them, I said, what is happening? They said, the man wants the child to come to free. But the cutoff for medicine was actually 85, 84.9. And the guys called it 84.5 or so. So the legal receipt is about some consulting. So it was very painful. So it was like he felt that it's better to go to press and try to do some so that we can come down. But about student mercy, and about student law, that's one of the best students that we have around. I'm not boasting. Fortunately, one of our students made first class last year in law, and they're going to law school in September. And that's one of those things that I also happy about. And at almost the last day last year, we make sure that we brought Isaiah to here, the dean of law school, before he left law school. He came, they saw, and they were impressed. They wrote it, they said, no, this is fantastic. But the only offense that we committed is that you have admitted students before those who are poor, which is normal. So they say you are children and students that don't go to church. I can tell you that I know what happened here too. And what I got, they have to keep before they go to worship. But I only don't go to that. All after that go to worship. So we also did it the way that tuition free for all academic staff. Academic staff or not teaching staff, it is free for all our PhD staff. We are doing PhD, it is free. We do free. Okay, and then we are also 50% paid for some of our non-teaching staff who are doing part-time work. Okay, yeah. Student welfare. We engage our students. We do retreat for them. People don't know why. In the last 5 years, there's no single crisis of students on this campus. I'm going to say that. I'm not going to say that. You know, I'm telling you the truth. The student would, every time we take in our student welfare, we take them for retreat outside pages. We did one last year, I see December. They are in Akure. And what we did that we engage them. Many people come to make presentation. I also make presentation. A lot of us, the DVCs, they make presentation. Posa will make presentation. And then we allow them to ask questions. And we engage ourselves. And so they know the rules. They will not want to cross the boundary. We did that for the last 5 years. And then we succeeded in making sure that we don't have a single student crisis on this campus. We are all here because of the students. And if you can manage students very well, fine. Every other thing second. And we succeeded in doing that for the last 5 years. And I want to thank the student union government who have cooperated with us to ensure that. And that is why we have a perfect calendar. A perfect calendar. In fact, I was a year admission. We might get together and people thought it was not going to work. It works. In fact, that's why we actually have an agile word talk. That's why we met them. And it was a big one for us, it was a challenge, but we were able to manage. It was at that point that we introduced our hybrid form of teaching. We brought in online teaching, and we are paying our staff online teaching that money. And so, of course, and everything was working, and we thank God God is peaceful now. Okay? Now, we also construct and complete the student union complex. And then the foundation, I completed that building, today the building is there. Some few weeks ago, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I went and laid another foundation for them. And I told them, if the Lord will permit me, and I pray the Lord will permit me, before I want to commission because it's not a big building. It's a one of the relaxation center. You know, I said I've done this building complex from where you are using presently. I also want to put up another thing. I said by God's grace, the Lord will have to do that. Now we purchased vehicles for them. There are official vehicles for them to use. We introduced electronic voting for their election. We do that, and when we started that, it was one time when they did the elections of 3 years ago. That was almost, resulting to fracas. So, and I said, look, we're going to start. Can we go electronic? And they agreed. I called them to a meeting. I didn't know any of them, so I didn't support any of them, and they were happy. Fortunately, we went to electronic voting. And the man who came first did excellently well. It was under his tenure that we put up the student union building. Not only that, he graduated from this university. Today, Teslim is back with us as a staff, almost completing his master's degree. Today, Teslim is my essay of student matters. I tell you, this is going to one university. Also, be essay of student matters. So, I was able to manage the student. You know the student. Of course, you know them very well. So, it makes my work very easy. I think the most important thing is to think outside the box. If you think outside the box, you get your problem solved. So I go to sleep, I don't have any. So when I sleep, go and talk to the one. I don't want to. It goes to talk to them, we get them. And that is it. And so I'm so happy that this is back with us as one of the staff. That fund convention. Oh, sorry. We also have the Advancement Center. Since Mrs. Oyawe came on board as director, many things, we have done so many things. But one of the biggest achievements that woman did, that I will never forget her, is that she built what we call National Conference Center in this university. If you go there, you see, there's a conference center where people come to do conferences. And then the money was from donation from 4 friends. That building was put up in 5 months. And I used to joke that if I have my way, I would have appointed her, although she's a professor, I would have appointed her as director of works of this university. She supervised that project and she finished it in 5 months. Today, it's a beautiful edifice for this campus. So I want to thank you for this. Third one, interventions. Well, we have assessed bachelor the third one intervention. And I want to thank ASU. It was ASU's idea several years ago. They brought the idea that can we tax all these big companies? And another idea is also coming. I also have an idea so to government now. Which is there are many ways in which you can tax people and make money and give the money to do something. I said, government, can you tax all the companies that have to do with agriculture, Oil, Press Agric, this and that, and whatever comes in goes to Bedford, and the money to be used as grant to university who have faculty of agriculture. And they got the idea, it works. Now, they are giving universities 1 billion each to embark on agriculture, for infrastructure, for production. So every federal university or state in any state is able to feed its domain. Why? Because of course, if they give 1 billion naira, you buy facilities, you produce, and that's what we are doing in this university. Of course, the law of university, the village, you have to feed, put up your proposal and defend it. Okay, so I'm very sure probably in the next few months they will give this verse another 1 billion for agriculture. You can see people are thinking outside the box, they are bringing like that to them, and of course that's thinking outside the box to turn risk into wealth. Okay, and that's how the university will run. For new directorates, when we came on board, probably we have 1 or 2, but today we have 19 directorates. 19 that we created additional something like 90 directorates that are very new, that they have one function of relevant to the university. Okay, like I said, we develop a strategic plan for 2026 to 2050. Okay, we also engage on public partnership because we felt that the government alone cannot provide all the hostels needed by the students. So we went ahead to engage public-private partnership system, build, operate, and transfer BOT. Today, an individual of Ekiti State, highly respected, fantastic man from Oye-Ekiti, the MD of First Bank, Olusegun Adebiyosu, came to this campus, he's a friend of mine, came to this campus and put up an hostel with of course, when you talk about facilities, put up that hostel, 400 hostel that will have about 2,000 students at the go. So what we did for him, we demarcated the place because it's student village, 33 hectares. And he said, sir, if you allow me, I can continue to build structures for hostel for students. And from this day, I want the best for this day. Today, if I'm we're going to commission some part of the hostel at 20. And then he said, Prof, because you have allowed me, you are giving me the space. Can you allow me to name that hostel after you? Because you have done excellently. You are a man that is not tribalistic. You allow me, get me that space, brought me in, and I'm able to do that. So today, we're not going to have, in fact, they are putting something that functional about all of us here. And I think it's one of those things, and it's encourage people to do, So I want to thank Mr. Adebiyosu, the complex. We have people who have been in government, who have been in the private sector, who have been donating to the institution. I brought in a friend of mine, a former MP of First Bank, who was my classmate in secondary school, this one who was together from class 1 to 5. We are very close. I brought him in here 2 years ago, and I told him, I said, boss, you see, what can you do for us? You are a former MP, you are a real estate man, you and Oyo of Ife, you are very close. He said, okay, Fashino, I'm an accountant. Can I put up an accounting lab? I said, no, we have a lab. Can you give us it? Okay, I will buy system to the tune of 25 million and fulfill that page. Today, we have system in our university donated by Bishop. And I want to know as many students of Ekiti to do that. And I think that's the way to go. We ranking our university in the last ranking release in 2026, precisely January 24th. Our university ran excellently very well, and I was really surprised for physical sciences and social sciences. Globally, we ranked number 4 for social sciences, and those of the blood that were ranked, I think 19 for social, 13 for physical. And then in Nigeria, out of 203 universities, only 19 and only 13 were ranked for social science and physical science. Do you know that for both. Foyer rank number 4. Foyer rank number 4. And what it portrays is that it's going to be good in terms of quality of education, in terms of service delivery, in terms of staffing, in terms of so many things. And I'm so excited. Foyer came in about 15 years ago, and look at what Foyer is doing. You cannot compare Foyer with the spears, Lokoja, Bukali, Otuoke, Lafia. Fafa. I'm not saying it's not the reality. The fact they are coming here to come and learn from us. They are coming here. I'm so happy. Of course, one of the newly appointed vice chancellor called me. He said, "Sir, we want to come and learn from the innovative ideas so that we can also grow our federal university." And I think that's the way to this university. And that for me, of course, it means we have something to offer. Okay, and I pray that we all get this. Okay. Now we are also looking at 91 accreditation programs. 91 programs have been accredited in this class. 91 programs. No program is denied accreditation. All our programs are accredited. All our programs, 91 programs. Accredited. Only 3 programs have been pending. Pharmacy, radiography, and statistics. And they came back for statistics last year. And I'm very sure we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And our pharmacy is also doing it. We're also going to get it. Okay, so we have all the professionals that can think about law, pharmacy, engineering, medicine, and this is a big one. I've just introduced computing. We introduced information and communication engineering, where people can study software engineering, system engineering, cyber security, all those are in place. Okay, we also I've told you that in the last sports, our students did extremely well. The last African Games for university, we participated and won a lot of the fastest man in Africa was university for this university. We won a gold medal from this university. I tell you, not only that, in football, 4 years number 1 in Egypt, number 2 in Nigeria. Hey, you don't want to clap now. 4 years, 15 years. I'm not talking about Exo. You know, I worked in Exo for 17 years. You know, Exo is my. I made my career in Exo. I must confess, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I give it to Exo. Whatever I have today, I want to thank God for Exo. I was a dean Exo for 7 years. I was an HOD for 30 years. I was a director for 4 years. The only thing I was not in Exo was I was not in TBC. I was in the vice chancellor. But I tell you that I will never forget Exo. I will never. So, but the point I'm saying is this: we are number 1 in football in Egypt. In Nigeria, we are number 2. In Africa, we are number 3. And a lot of our students won a lot of prizes in the last African Games, Games. But that will not permit me. But I've listed them in my validatory lecture. I will not want anybody to miss that lecture. It's coming up on Thursday. It's loaded. So everybody will give a copy of that lecture. It's about 90 pages. And I tell you, there's a lot there. You know, I told somebody, I said, the work of 5 guys you can't leave it in 30 minutes. I said you have not done anything. If you have done something, there's a lot to talk about, you know, and that's what we are trying to do today. For research grants, 34 of our lecturers brought in grants and document value at 430 million. 430 million. They brought in grants and research document worth 430 million. Apart from that, I've told us about Professor Emmanuel Bakari, who brought the white man this morning. They are having a conference. He said they want to do that conference to celebrate me because I'm going. Of course, the director of our Institute for Mathematical Modeling and in Canada, quality Canada. Okay? He wrote a proposal. And Bill and Melinda Gates, they gave him 8.6 million to put up that edifice. And we are using that edifice, that unit, to train postdoctoral students and postgraduate students on data analytics and data science. And in fact, it was because of him I established and introduced a program that was very scarce in Nigeria. Only probably 4 or 5 universities in data science and analytics. As I'm talking to you today, Oye is doing course on data science and analytics. And of course, and we will continue that way. As a vice chancellor, I brought in equipment worth $55,000. I have a project that I've been running. I have a project that I've been running for the past 25 years. That year. International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, Austria. I'm a regular visitor, scientist, professor to that place in Vienna. I go there every year. Because when I became the vice chancellor, I couldn't go. So I started to sending my academic shop. So of course I didn't have any time. So I was going on my there, and I can tell you that we are approaching a lot of documents in the university for training people. We have also trained a lot of our colleagues. Some of them have gone to overseas for training for fellowship of the doctorate. Through that project. Now, for training and conferences, we have trained 381 academic staff and non-teaching staff that have gone for conferences in the last 5 years. We have also trained about 130 staff for PhD masters and MCPhD. Okay, in the last 5 years. We have also trained, we have trained people now for doctorates in this university. Now, we introduce something we call professor of practice, emeritus professors. Let me stand up to say this. Emeritus professors and diaspora professors. One of the man who came this morning, the white man, is one of our diaspora professors. I was in Germany. I went to the director of research, Professor Lawal, and we said, look, what stay here is Oye. Let's make Oye a global place where people becoming white will also be going there, so Oye will be big in terms of scholarship. And I went to Germany with Leipzig. I went to Leipzig, Germany with Professor Lawal. And we met some people, went to Jena, went to Leipzig, we were in Berlin. We went around and I went to discover for them, we established some collaboration, research linkages, and we signed some MOU. And one of the MOU was on training on atmospheric chemistry. Professor Hamad and Professor Fomba came last year, February, to come and give some lectures there. Very fantastic lectures as part of the state program. Some of our colleagues will also go there. Only last year, we were also in Rwanda. We were in Rwanda. Some people say, council members are going to enjoy Rwanda. They didn't know what we were going there to do. We were in the University of Kigali, which other universities, we have about 3 or 2 universities. We signed MOU with them for exchange programs. Students will be coming from Kigali, from Rwanda, around people also be going there. I'm very sure Professor Gumole, who is in Common BC, is going to build here scholars residence, where scholars who come from overseas will stay there. So our scholars also can also stay there. They are there that when we have a exchange program, that will be a difficult place for people to stay. And that's what we are doing. So, in the next 1 year or 2 years, don't be surprised when this place become a world university. Where people, because let's go to Foye. They say something is in Foye. Like the students are already doing, everybody wants to come to Foye. Everybody wants to come to Foye. Only last year, almost 56,000 students applied to Foye. For a space of about, I think about 10,000. And I cannot admit everybody. And I ask people, what is in the Foye that they saw that they wanted to come here? Are they giving people money? Or are they distributing fertilizer? No, because that when you have a university where there's scholarship, the quality of that no break in academic calendar. We don't have problem with academic calendar except that we have a national strike. And what we do when there's a national strike, our lecturers are teaching online. We pay them for data money. So even after the strike, if you like take your staff for 8 months, immediately after the strike, you start exam because you have to teach online. That is the case. We have mastered that. Nobody can take that away from us. We have mastered that. Now, also, we introduced what we call Professor Emeritus. And we felt some of our colleagues who have done well, who want to retire, we should honor them and thank them for the service rendered to the university. And then we came up with a framework. We saw it at the University of Lagos, and we are really impressed. Of course, I have a lot of my friends who are professors of University because some of my colleagues. And we said, okay, let's introduce it. As Senate, we approved. But the recent one that we did, that gladdens my eye, it's not because I'm going as a vice chancellor or it's because he's coming as a vice chancellor. We said, and we took the council to approve the Senate. Every former vice chancellor of this university will be conferred with emeritus professor on their computer requirement for this university. So, this convocation we are planning to confer on 3 of them. Professor Chinedu Nebo, the former Minister of Power, Professor Azuzu Isaac, and Professor Kai Bishoy. Well, maybe some few years to come, I also to confer when I'm 70. I'm not yet 70 years. I still have something, I'm not yet close to the time, so I still have something. You know, but the beauty of it is that once you finish as a vice chancellor, once you are 70, you will confirm you as a emeritus professor. I know what it means. You are professor there for life. They say you are life. That's what it means. At the University of Lagos, they also have what they call distinguished professor. Professor is different from professor. That's what they call distinguished. You know what you need to be a distinguished professor? They competent for it, you will be. It's not just anybody can become a distinguished professor. They also call what they call gold medal professor. So, and the idea is I will tell you what they are doing. If you become professor, don't relax. Don't say, yeah, I'm not a professor now. And then you have nothing to show again. In terms of training of students, in terms of teaching, in terms of quality, in terms of design. In overseas, when you are Professor A, you are probably still going to Professor D, or you start from D, come back to A. In other words, you want every time they will assess. I was in Houston, Texas, Southern University, and when I saw, I was challenged. I was there for almost 4 weeks, and I was like, these guys are serious. You know, so in other words, they call you doctor, professor. And I was like, what is that? He said, if you are a professor, you are just starting, probably Professor A or Professor D, you still have to migrate to Professor A, and you have to be working hard. Don't say because you are now professor, you relax. If you relax, they'll be paying you every year. They say, what have you contributed? What have you contributed in the last 1 year? I got there, of course, it was work for me or two. Because I wanted to do a research on fly ash. Fly ash for road construction. I'm not an engineer, but I'm a soil scientist. So I decided to work with civil engineers in that university to see what we can do in terms of using fly ash, okay, voucher in road construction. And I wrote the proposal. By the time I was living there 4 weeks, they didn't want me to go. They said, Prof, this one, wow, I work on it. And I saw a lot of things, but I prayed that I still have the time to go back to there. Probably spend 1 or 2 years. The idea is that knowledge continues, long-lasting training, teaching, and learning. Don't say because they are professors in life. You guys have a lot to offer. The best professors in Israel. I was training as a master student. The man who taught me and inspired my project for my postdoc was 82 years old. Wow. 82. Anytime I look at that man, 82. I'm talking about 2002. I'm not talking about now. The man is still alive. So the point is that about the quality, about excellence, it's about scholarship, it's about the environment. The first time I ate fish without bone in my life was in Israel several years ago. When I came back from Israel, I was at the airport. My wife was looking for, she couldn't recognize. I was a big man. I was so I fucked off. I mean, because everything was okay, the environment was okay, and I was eating. I wouldn't say fish. And I remember that the Indians who came for me, there are 5 of them, Nigerians 2 of us. I would take my bread to them. No, I would take rice to them. They would give me bread. I like to eat bread, and the Olympics are not living bread. So it was a beautiful one. I saw the environment. Almost a day for me to go. I was almost crying. You know why? I didn't want to leave the place. It was a place that the best in terms of training. The lab, everything to myself. The facilities were there, and everything was working. I remember one day, the man we had stayed together in the room, it's a Cameroonian. The guy was frying something, and we didn't know. The smoke detector started making noise. Before we do it, firefighting, a soldier. I just put through my window and I saw a lot. I see there's a war. They were saying I should come down through the window. They put the ladder there for what? I said, we're just frying something. No. Come down through that. Eventually, I didn't listen. So one of them climbed the ladder, came to my room through the window, and pulled me out. I said, but there's nothing. I was only frying something here. That's good. So they were so sensitive in terms of security. So that's an environment for me. Who takes up in terms of security. So for me, I think we are getting that. Then when it comes to, we also organize a command day vice chancellor for our students. One day vice chancellor where we showcase our students. We allow them, they competed for several weeks. Professor Adelugbe, I don't know whether it's here, was the one who actually organized it. and he did excellently well. When somebody was appointed, a lady became one day vice chancellor. I know what they did. We allow her to sit in that office. The only thing that we didn't allow to sign check. Every other thing, they gave her a Prado to write. Everybody was following her. But when it comes to money, don't go there. It's not of. I'm not even allowed to talk money. It was an interesting thing where our students were given the opportunity, many of them to compete, to show leadership qualities. And when they leave university, I can tell you, some of them, I want to about I want to tell you, when somebody will tell you that it's not of the state. So we started training them and catch them up. That's our focus. And we succeeded in doing that. Well, we also established about 14 outreach centers, like I said, for the whole of Ekiti. Okay? And then lastly, I want us to look at what I call a strategic imperatives. In other words, as Oye is development, what are the challenges that will come along with this development? And it's a very key. I don't know whether you have it here. Yeah, you can show us. Okay, with an increase in student population, we have commensurate facility and infrastructure. But what can we do? You know, what can we do to do that, to make sure that we also tackle the increase in student population to match with the infrastructure? So I'm very sure as he's coming in, he has a vision to tackle that. Make university a smart university, a smart campus, where most of the teaching will be driven by technology. In other words, you can be in the corner of your room and you are receiving lecture. Without sending, no problem, no answers. Okay? It's technology driven. So we are going to invest massively in ICT so that of course we don't have issues. If you have students 200,000, 100,000, once you have invested so much in ICT, you can take care of that. There will be no problem. Okay? I remember sometimes when we had COVID, people did exam. Easier was the visa of going there. They did the exam at home. And they have a way. If you are a father or mother and you want to teach your students, they will catch you. But of course, easier. Of course, they teach that technology. There's nothing, of course, it's not to develop a program. That's not possible. Because then I knew that if Nigeria, if we pass through so many challenges, we teach us how it works. COVID taught us a lot of things that we have to develop very well our IP system of teaching. And since then, we have started doing that. You know, as a university, we are going to focus more on investing more on ICT so that the university can move forward. Can you, the imperative, let me see the imperative there. Strategic imperative. So the strategic imperative, I said, align growth with academic capacity. Student numbers and programs are growing faster than infrastructure and staffing. Sustainable expansion without loss of quality. We don't want to lose quality of teaching. So what do we do? We have to evolve smart campus. Okay, start with that. Number 2, strengthen academic staffing. Okay, we want to improve put in more training for our staff. And make, you know, in those days, some of us who are in those days in UI, we didn't have in our old days, they split disket and all this thing for training. All these things that people are using now, we didn't have it in our own time. Yeah, that's it. But now, you see, some professors don't even know how to use system. It's sad, but we are going to about that now. AI, we are going to AI. I hope some people will not be asked to go. I don't do respect because we must catch up the latest technology, and that's not the truth. So if you don't know it, take your time to learn. I told somebody, I said this my 1 year sabbatical. By the time I come back, I will acquire so many degrees because I'm going to go for training, so many trainings. And then quality AI and some other things to train myself. You know, because I don't have to do a lot of training. Now, expand infrastructure and smart learning. That is it. Okay? That is it. In those days, we will have seen a projector here pointing to the screen. Did you see any projector here? I'm asking now. There's no projector here. Like, you know how the thing is. That's what we are talking about. That's what we are talking about. We are making progress, and that's what it will be. I can feel the comfort of my room and be teaching my students in the class. They all be there. And look, one day, my classmate of mine, who came from South Africa, is a professor of law, scholar of history. He was the former secretary legal advisor. GTB, Guarantee Trust Bank. Himself, Wigwe, I were promoted to this the same as AGM of Access Bank. Now, the point is that I call Kolako, I said, Kolako, what can you offer? He has retired. I said, Kolako, you cannot go to sleep. He was the former secretary of House Administration of Lagos several years ago. I brought Kolako back to this university as a professor of law. And he has been donated to the university. He's one of the professors. He said, but if you allow me to be teaching from South Africa 2 weeks after before exam, I'll come here and come around. I said, no problem. He said, we pay all the friends that. In fact, he's not collecting salary, it's pro bono, he's doing it free. So one day, he was lecturing in class from South Africa. I just stumbled into that class. I sat down. He didn't know I was in class. So he was teaching. I enjoyed the class. I'm not a law student, but I enjoyed the class. I was watching. After finishing, he said, questions? The student, all of them were asking questions. I just said, he said, anymore? I said, yes. He said, Flash, is that you? Yeah, I can hear your voice. You are in this class? I said, yes, I'm there. He said, you are funny. I said, that's your question. I said, I don't want to answer you. I don't want to thank you for what you have been doing. And they have been doing that for only God knows how many years. The thing of God is I can testify to it. That's what I thought. The same thing, I was in the class one day when Yusuf Ali was teaching law of evidence. It's a professor of practice. That man is fantastic. There's a difference between a teacher who is a professor of law in class and the one who is in practice. If a professor of law in practice do like this, look at the face of the brother. The communicator is coded. The man who is a professor of law in class will talk with quoting law. Because the man has been in practice for a long time, he knows what it is. And I used to tell people, the advantage I have is that I lectured on the protecting system for 14 years before coming to the university. So when you talk about practice, I tell you, every 3 days in a week, our protecting students go to farm practice Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 hours, that's 9 hours in a week. That's how we not make good in practice. The same thing what I think. We are bringing up professional practice in engineering, in law, people even in medicine, we bring them here. And the idea is that we are trying to do that to make sure that the knowledge acquired by these people will be not only classroom, but also people who are in practice. We blend together and they will produce the best students. And I think we're going to continue. So for me, these are some of the things I can't start imperative. Okay, of course, I look at the problems, I look at what I terms of progress we have made, and I look at the challenges. I manage them together and I take what we started to find. These are very challenging. I said manage multi-campus governance effectively. Okay, coordinate efficiency in terms of coordination. Now, strengthen community relations. There are tensions within community, but that will go back to solve some of these things. You know, we put in place a community relations committee headed by the Onoyo for years. So a combination of staff of our university and community, both for today and projects. And our professors at DBC have been a member of that committee, and they are doing wonderful. Before there's a spike or there's a problem, they are very proactive. They know who they belong, you know. And then for most of our students, almost 90% of them or 99% of them are living in town. And it's a serious you can't control it. You know, they are used for elaborance and they are very aggressive. They are still young. They are full of power and energy. They want to do so many things, but of course, we have to do that too. Be resilient to internal and external disruption. Thrive in security and economic shocks affect stability. So, I gave an example of what we did to that. For teaching, if people are on strike, if there's a national strike, we go give one teacher line. And we pay our staff data, money for data. Before you know it, they finish strike. But our weeks, of course, lecturing has been going on. So we just call in for exams and do exams because we have been teaching through online. And that's and we are training our staff on how to do that. So if you are a lecturer here, you must know how to use the computer. If you are a lecturer, you must know how to teach through the computer. If you are a lecturer, you must know how to use PowerPoint. So these are the things we are picking up. So if you don't want to do it, you will be forced to do it because you'll be left behind. I cannot go and meet the professor or please come and teach now to when you have the opportunity to come for training. So we do that regularly. Professor Odo is director of that directorate, and they do training from time to time. And this one of the time. So lastly, I want to make my recommendation to the university. As about how and I see from this university and the vice chancellor. I said number one, staff and students must be deliberate in avoiding actions and inactions capable of disrupting the academic calendar. In fact, if that happens, we run a university that will have not good quality training for the students. So we must restrain ourselves. We must be patient enough. We must be tolerant. There's no perfect system. Okay? So the imperfections over time will go. But the most important is that let us avoid anything that can disrupt academic calendar. And God help us, we have been able to do that for the last 5 years. Okay? Number 2, council management collaboration to be strengthened. We are doing that perfectly very well. And I pray that I know my successor will just on that. Proactive engagement with regulators and other government authorities to be sustained and strengthened. NUC, TEDFON, which other one? So many of them. NEFON. You know, I said it this morning. I said one thing that I practiced my heart is the introduction of NEFON. In those days, we have to run after students to pay school fees. Today, in the last few months, NEFON has given us a lot of money. And then, of course, what they need to do, students will pay the formal line, do all the necessary biometrics, and then what they have to data is right to all right. Students to do some money. Okay? Now, faithful and rigorous implementation of 4 years, 25 years, strategic plan. That is it. That's the roadmap of the university. And I know, you know what I did? I knew our course. I didn't know that this one would become the vice chancellor. My plan was that I appointed as the chairman of strategic plan, internal strategic plan committee. A consultant was asked to do job work. They said we appoint somebody internally that will be working with them. So I appointed him as the chairman. Today is the vice chancellor. The one is who chair that committee. Let's go and implement what they are sharing. You know, I'm so happy. So that because another person has come from outside, that person takes some time. And why I succeeded a lot, and I'll tell you, I was the staff of this matter by staff of my group. So when I came in, I hit the ground running. I know everybody that can quick. Some of us for this. So if you come to me and tell stories, I know what I'm going to do. But I know what you are. I know your capacity, I know your skill, I know what you can do. In my book, I wrote on about 40 destiny helpers who helped me faithfully. And if I some of them when they what I wrote about them, they will laugh. I can predict a lot of people. So I didn't need to, I was independent, I didn't need to run, I didn't need to say, I don't run, if I run the battle with emotions or sentiment, I wouldn't have to wear out today. I run this battle with the fear of God. Hello, I run this battle with the fear of God. And that was what happened. And that's why mercy showed for me. When the days were tough, it was mercy and grace of God that I enjoyed. And I pray for him that I also enjoyed the mercy and grace of God. Amen. No man can do anything without the support of God. I've seen that if not for God, it can only be God. And I said in church yesterday, it was only God. It can only what God cannot do does not exist. If you think you are clever, you want to bring somebody that want to buy, you are wasting your time. God has ordained for everybody what he has done. That's a portion for everybody. Face your own portion and make sure you make the best of it. Don't go and be fighting another man's portion. Because you will not succeed, that man will also succeed. You will be running over. At the last day, when you are old, you have to settle with him. I think that will not be a opportunity. Now, fully promote, celebrate, and incentivize innovative and high-impact research beyond career progression. I told them on the TVC this morning. I said, government by increasing our salary by 40%, they motivated our academic body. That's a slogan I used to tell people here. Motivate to innovate. If I don't know, God bless you. Motivate to innovate. When you motivate me, I will innovate. And when I innovate, you have to compensate me. Council at the point of coming up with what compensation can give to the lecturer who innovates. So if you bring a project on innovation university, if it's 100%, probably give you 70 or 60% of our or you do the consultancy job, you get some share. And I'll give a very good example. University of Lagos, Professor Abayomi Adebisi is a professor of anthropology and professor of business administration. He brought in a research down from Sahara Group to the tune of about 12 billion. At the last convocation, he was giving $12,000. Hello, I don't know how much that's almost about 50 million or more than that. If you give 50 million, no, you know how much a bank has on hand today? It's not more than 15 million per year. So that man is collecting the $5,000 salary just 1 day. Through innovation. So if you get 5 or 4 innovations, or 6 times 15, 8 million, become a millionaire. And I'll tell you, for the former chair of shares company. One of our colleagues, Professor Bishola, also in the chair for Petroleum at the University of Nigeria. Olùsọ̀rọ̀ ìgbésà is in Ajolo department. President only a chair. If I'm going President only a chair to not of the Africa. For a professor from Israel, he went to Israel and got that chair. 4 years going places. Let's talk about it. 4 years the government fund promoted and council support. We have started an intelligent fund which we want to build on to make this place good. I said 4 years to strengthen university industry linkage, including the development of an industrial park model. Build an public private. Look, nobody, I used to tell people, I worked with Baba friend for 6 years. 6 years. One of us started this university. And I was there when I was there. I told Baba, it's not only enough for we must also have been. I was a consultant of Baba for almost 6 years. I was lecturing, I was also on the farm. Okay? Of course, that time, things are not, but today, anytime I go back to Papa, I'm always very up. Papa says, okay, hello, car for fashion, hello, car, this one for fashion. Because we went to Yako's farm, we brought in black mango, and we brought we work a lot. Today, Papa has about 450 greenhouses producing pepper, habanero. But of course, Papa is also producing rice, pando. You have to convert raw materials of agriculture into food product, manufacturing. And Papa listen to me. And today we have that story. So I'm praying that when you also go into industrial park, probably go put your back at for anywhere and put it there. There are guys that want to do manufacturing. In Ekiti, you need to have more manufacturing industry. Hello? You need to have more manufacturing, and that's why the reason. People, the other time I ended up playing from Lagos to Ado, only a page of how I could be played. I said, what is happening? There are guys that you go a state with industry. And that is what we are trying to thank God for our government. Our government is moving towards that now. Once look, the state will go more than some other states in the next few years. The roads are there. All the network of roads are very good. They are fantastic. So what we need to do is to bring in more industry. And I know how people do that. I said, they are classified revenue grants, partnership, endowment, and consultant service. Sustain our present grant for infrastructure development. Council amendment must be real bold and must not tolerate legality in any form. If you allow lawlessness in the university system, someone will come and meet with some dollars, say the extra stamp from last year. I want to see. That's the end of the story. Because they have allowed that. So that will not be allowed. And I know that our president house is very strong. You know, I pray that they will continue that way. Lastly, capacity development is the prioritize. Two is to do the investment in staff. We need to do that more. The more you train your staff, the better. On this note, I want to thank everybody for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we do an innovation for Mr. Vice Chancellor to read out his scorecard for the past 5 years? Ladies and gentlemen, you all agree with me at the outset of this presentation when I said this administration is copiously rapid in achievement. You have seen for the past more than an hour, Mr. Vice Chancellor has been busy reeling out his achievements. Facts, words are free, but facts are very sacred. Everything Mr. Vice Chancellor has made mention of are things you can confirm within the campus, and the testaments are there for everybody to see. Ladies and gentlemen, can we jam hands together once again for Professor Abayomi Sunday Kashino. To this end, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give the floor to the journalists for interactions with Mr. Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much. The gentleman of the press, Chairman NUJ, to anchor them. Thank you.
The Vice Chancellor, the incoming Vice Chancellor, top management team of this university, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, permit me to congratulate the Vice Chancellor and to also acknowledge these unprecedented successes that he has actually read out to us this afternoon. Gentlemen of the press, You've heard from the Vice Chancellor. I would like to ask if there's anybody with either clarification, question. Okay. I think we have just okay. All right, let's start from with the News Agency of Nigeria, Idowu Ariwodola. Then we'll take Tuji Saliu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my chairman. One more time. Idowu Ariwodola is my name. I work for the News Agency of Nigeria. While I joined my chairman to congratulate the outgoing PC for the very good work and record of good worship that you have put in. Wonderful one, for that matter. Journalists being in peaceful times, no matter how comprehensive your speech is, journalists will want to make certain clarifications or ask questions. And it is for your own sake, so that you are not misrepresented or will get a better deal from whatever you are able to tell us. And therefore, to assure you, sir, that we actually listen to you attentively. I made certain points, I noted certain points from your speech, which actually summarize everything. And before I go to my questions, you mentioned the issue of one day Vice Chancellor, which so much attracted my attention. You spoke about increase in the number of accredited courses, which has suddenly risen to about 91, leaving just about 3, yet to be accredited. You spoke about categorizing professors as a result of your extensive travels, experience gathered all over the world, because we have many who occupy higher positions than yours and have traveled and came back to do nothing for their community or for their country. They remain the same. You also mentioned the execution of about 162 projects, with many of them being commissioned now. Wonderful one. I'm coming, please. Edward. Now, you also said your university has become one of the most sought after. I can confirm that because I have my daughter with you here, and she's doing quite well. You said the people has risen to about 53,000. Wow, almost competing with the conventional multi-level universities like OAU and University of Ibadan. Now to my question, sir. This issue of the office of the one-day Vice Chancellor, can we know how many that had occupied that office? Then, what aspect of the paraphernalia of office are attached to the office, including salary and so on, even though you said they don't sign salary vouchers? You said you have increased accredited courses to 91 and all that. How were you able to achieve all of this? Then the last question on the issue of 162 projects. How come? How possible? Does that mean that you don't like stealing or you don't like to tamper with government property and money? Because I find it hardly possible in Nigeria for a vice chancellor to achieve this much. Then finally, still, you are hiring from the foyer as vice chancellor. Have you actually orientated your successor on the magic wand that you apply to achieve all of this? And then what is your next point of call? Because I'm coming with a book now. You cannot retire. As a man who's such a big fish, who can hardly hide himself, where do you belong now, sir? After this service. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will listen to all the questions and then answer all them. Thank you very much.
All protocols well observed. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the incoming Vice Chancellor. My name is Tuji Saliu, Ekiti State Television. Yes, sir. I have just 2 questions. The first one is about the projects that your administration has successfully executed. What were the sources of the funds that you used in executing them? Then the other one is about the 14 centers that you have across the state. At the time, I was traveling to Mo. Then I got to Isibode. I saw one of your centers. I know there are some in other communities. Even at the time, some communities were even reaching out to you that you should establish centers for them as well. The question about this is the quality of education you are imparting. How are you ensuring standards in all these centers? Because some people are like saying, it's for revenue generation. So I want you to confirm or dispute that. Thank you. That's all. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I will start the one day Vice Chancellor. Let me say this. I was at the university sometime several years ago, and I saw that initiative, and I brought it here. So what we did was we set up a committee, and what the committee did was they advertised within the university. So the students have to pass through examination, rigorous competitive examination. They did a lot of things for them. CBT, speaking programs, projects, all of them. So eventually the person is like a computer, eventually the person who came forth was a lady. And then a lot of parameters were used. They idea that they want them to be good leaders, we are training them to be good leaders in the future. So that lady came forth. At the end of the day, she was given a laptop. She was giving us some money. I'm very sure we gave them some money. And the idea was that we want to show them that you can also be trained as good leaders. Okay? And then she was treated as a one-day vice chancellor. She addressed all of us, all the paraphernalia of the office of the vice chancellor, except money, like I said. And that's I know why we didn't do that. And of course, she also collected one-day salary of the vice chancellor. Okay? The idea is that so that good thing that is sweet, if they know it is good, they will also strive to be there, to be good leaders. That's what we did. And I tell you from since then, the students have been looking forward to see more of that. And I'll tell you some of this initiative I also did when I was in election. That's what we call SIFE, Student Free Enterprise Project. Now enactors. I was myself and Professor Ibe, who are the coordinator for faculty advisor. We took our students to the project competition in Lagos and in Kaduna and Abuja. And at that time, in 2014, I remember very well, myself and Awe were there. Our students came first in the whole of Nigeria. And then the project we designed was a PCD, pest control device. That we went to Igbemo last week. And we discovered that the farmers during the harvest, birds would come and ravage their field. So we went to the lab, we studied the environment, came out with a PCD. Pest control device that would drive away the birds. So we did it. We took students from engineering, students from agriculture, students from mathematics, and then we got somebody from FUTA, Silas, who works in FUTA. So it complemented our effort, and we came up with this PCD. The first time we went to the field, the PCD did not drive away female birds. It only drive away the male birds. We went back and did some study, from the internet and all. We discovered that this is what to do. We went back again. The second time we came up with the new device, we was able to drive away both the female and male birds. But when the team came from Lagos, director of SITE, he said, but have you ever thought of making this device wireless? So when he said, how can we do it? He said, it's electronic. So we came back, worked for some weeks, we came back with a wireless PCD. And that one is we covered 5 kilometer radius. And then we took it to the competition and we came first. And we were to go to China, but that was the time we have Ebola. So our students were already happy. We have got passport for the person. I know what the vice chancellor was there. Okay, was happy that he go to China. All of us were happy that we go to China. Every day you see students in my house, in Adepa, they are always there. Because we are planning to go to China. Only when we got to the embassy, they said, sorry, you cannot go from Nigeria to China because that's the case of Ebola. My student wanted to burn down the embassy. I said, you can't do that. They were so annoyed. I said, well, it is not what I said, fine, you are not going yet. You will get there one day. But the point I'm making is that innovative thinking, pop that. And that's what I brought to Foye. And that's not the point. What's the two project? We didn't steal any money. Okay? I tell you, our sources of revenue, head fund, IGR, capital grants, and donations. The donation, with the building we have factor compensation that was for donations from people, friends of Foye. Some of the professor of practice that we're talking about came and donated money to us. Okay? And then we did a lot of, I was there in Jack one day in Lagos, in those days of Lagos. Some of us will know Jack one day in those days in Lagos. So I saw that when I came on board, there were so many students for very few classrooms. So I got them back on this side, makeshift. So the makeshift for later upgraded as soon as money comes. Within a year, we built about 20 makeshifts. Because the money was not much there. So I think 18 million. That we were accommodating about 500 students. Thinking out that somebody said, okay, you work with passion. You want to kill yourself because of food. But today, I'm happy that I succeed. And I want to tell my colleagues that you also work with passion. Once you are faithful, you are innocent, you are sincere with what you have done, God will bless you. It's a man that makes you that acting song. But a lot of us do things, the way that comes in, but God does not want that. So we were doing that. So within a space of about 3-4 years, we were able to build up this number of about 40 to that process. You can see the system. So it's about thinking, maybe think that then working with people who are sincere with you. If you have drivers who are smiling enemies, mark my words, smiling enemies. It's not like you do another thing at the back. You cannot be found. Or people are but every day I wake up, I pray to my God. I said, God, I'm going out to do any spelling me, help me to think that. And God actually helped me. That's why I'm still alive. Yes, orientation for the successor. I don't really need to do any orientation. They have been my deputy vice chancellor for some time now. We have known each other for almost decades. I went to examine, it was in Zaria. I'm not going to Zaria. I went to examine, I slept in his house. We have done so many things together. The two of us are some scientists. He knows my style, I know his style. So, and we continue that structure and that experience. He has been a former vice chancellor. When he came back, he was appointed to the BBC side. Somebody said, okay, after being a vice chancellor, you now come and take a photo of BBC. You have promoted yourself now. You laugh at them. They didn't know that one day he will become the vice chancellor. Today, he's a vice chancellor. So, we must learn to humble ourselves. That's how I'm going. We must learn to humble ourselves. Some of us don't want to humble yourself. And I thank God that he was able to humble himself. The man was a DBC yesterday, today's DBC president. By this time next week, we'll be counting to do his inauguration. Okay? So, and then next point of all, for now, it's only God. It's only God who can say, Fashion, stay here. And I'll be praying. There are many of us here and there. For my 1 year out, about 2 years or 3 to stay aside. Accumulated leave, research leave, overseas leave, my normal leave, and then with 1 year sabbatical. But I can tell you, I'm not going to be done that. I'm going to be where I'll be very, very useful. But I've asked my God to lead me to that place. To lead me to what? I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we laughed. The president and the chairman is my friend. I'm moving on. I said, what? Do you want me to come there? I lie. We'll talk later now. The point is this. It is only God that is the God that ordered the steps of the righteous. And I pray that God order my steps. When I was on leave, the bishop last week called me. They asked me to do the faculty of activity last week. I went there and straightened things up. I know for 3-5 days I was there for 1 week. I just looked at her and I wrote the plan and gave it to her. And they implemented the report, which it did. That is it. When you have energy in you, enigma, you want to go and make sure that you teach those enigma and make a place to be good. And that's what we have done in Foye. And the work continues. And I know the Lord will help us. Traditionally, I've explained the sources of revenue. IGR, third fund, capital grant donations. 14 centers, we are not going to allow our quality to diminish. We have a quality assurance directorate. And Honorable Rotimi, representing Kode and some others, spoke with me this morning. I will never forget that guy. Dr. Is it Falano, Fajan, Chilani, and some other people, Olabi, put up a beautiful edifice at Kode to support our outreach. Beautiful. In terms of our sporting facility, you know what? Only recently, if you go to community, my friend, Angela, Oscar, sometimes came with some people say, fashion, oh boy, my friend, I want to do something. I said, well, what do you want? He said, can you put a center of mercy pattern there? I said, no problem. They came to us, they played for you know what they did? They attached us, they put up, they gave us a structure to have that program. They didn't only do that, they went and bought the fence and donated it to the university to do some money in that program. Hello? We didn't use our money. They want to pay. Now, we have a pattern program at that place. And now, a friend of mine in Lagos is a lawyer. Going to a session from Oye-Ekiti. He saw that thing. He said, I bought the ocean. And he was Oye-Ekiti. I said, of people that, the other pattern, to go and look at that, to go to the place. I said, okay, we have them to do one of this. I said, we must go to Oye-Ekiti. I have a lot of people from Oye-Ekiti. No, our next lifetime now is to go to Oye-Ekiti. And I see Paladin is now. Because Paladin is for Oye-Ekiti. So the idea is that you are trying to, it's not like economy. So the point is that you are talking about knowledge economy. You want to take the knowledge to where people are and then provide quality education. You don't know what to have to offer. I saw some of these things in overseas. And of course, like your house to your place of work, your house to your school is not far. And it makes things very easy. You don't need to work far. And that's what we're trying to preach in for risk to wealth. Don't forget. And knowledge economy is the last thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor. We are going to take one or two questions because we don't have the luxury of time. Okay, thank you. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the journalists, they are well pleased. Let me make a quick one. After this event, there will be commissioning of projects as testaments to all of those things Mr. Vice Chancellor has made mention, and we have distributed a leaflet. We are going to be commissioning this building. We are in the Senate building, the academic office building, the social sciences building, and there will be groundbreaking of College of Medicine building, Faculty of Arts, Mass Communication, the SUG building, and the Faculty of Law building commissioning as well. And to this end, let me recognize the Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Professor Sunday Adepojade. You are most welcome. And let me quickly recognize the head corporate services, Mr. Folusho Okumodede. Thank you for working in partnership with the Media and Publicity Subcommittee to put up this beautiful press conference. To this end, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to recognize Professor Doshu Malomo, the Director, JUBEB. You are most welcome. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the Dean, Faculty of Computing, Faculty of Computer Science, Professor Barrister Adedayo Shobowale, for the vote of thanks. A round of applause for you. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you so much. Vote of thanks, first to the Almighty God. If you think 5 years is long, ask Professor Abayomi Sunday Fashino. It was 5 years ago, I can remember vividly, we were seated in the sitting room preparing for the inauguration, and suddenly it's 5 years after, we are ready here for his exit. All glory to the Almighty God that kept him alive, and everybody that has worked with him since that day till date. To God we say, blessed be thy holy name. We want to specially appreciate the council members as well, the council chairman, all the members of council, both external and internal members. God has used you so far to build this institution to this level. If the Vice Chancellor has no peace of mind, there is no way we would have gone this far. A big thank you to all members of council, and everything you also lay your hands upon shall also succeed by the special grace of God. We cannot but appreciate the management team. The Vice Chancellor did not do it alone. When the leader is making it, you will see that there are some people behind the scene that are not seen. And these are the management team. You can tell those who work very closely with him, the only time you know about the VC is the resumption time. Your time of exit from work, you will not know it until when he says it is time. 7 p.m. at times, you see the VCC signing memo as if it is 2 p.m. And it doesn't even look tired at all. Management team, the Lord will bless all of you, bless your family, and you will not fail by God's grace. Teachers and directors, you must be appreciated. All the things are the vice chancellors in their various faculties, and you are the directors and the vice chancellors in the various directorates, the heads of units, the HODs. You are all highly appreciated. All members of staff seated, you are highly appreciated. What can we say but to say a big thank you to the gentlemen of the press? I don't know why you picked that name, gentlemen of the press, but you know what? I want to specially thank you today. You know the reason. You know, there is no pretext. This administration did not go without turbulence. When we had real problem, you know, the VC was on TVC this morning. You watched it. Last year, we couldn't hold that episode because there were challenges. One thing we got from gentlemen of the press is that you were partners that promoted Oye. You never brought Oye down. All those that published against this institution, all those that published against the institution, those who published against the Vice Chancellor, you were never part of it. And that is what gave us the leverage to still be here today. And as the Vice Chancellor has said, we still want to plead with you as a new administration comes on board. Do not forget this partnership. Don't forget this legacy. Continue promoting Foye, and we all shall benefit therein. I must also thank, very importantly, everyone that has come. And you also help me appreciate the most important person here. There is someone that not mentioned his name. That person is very important. If the person is not here, this program will not have held. Can you help me by giving a sounding clapping ovation to this most important person? And that is you. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let me personally appreciate our government council members, starting from Honorable Linke Omowari. Honorable Linke Omowari is from Osun State. She was the former deputy speaker of Osun State House Assembly. Madam, thank you very much. God bless you. You are welcome. She has brought her wealth of experience into council, and that has actually helped us a lot. My chair, Honorable Chief Mfoma Nduku, the Jagaban of Igbo State. I want to thank you very much. You have done excellently well for us. I want to say God bless you, man. Well, the man from the plateau, who is a lawyer, who's the youngest among us, Barrister Maswell, thank you very much. We are very grateful. Well, the Minister of Education, we call him Minister, Rabati, thank you excellently very much. Well, let me come to internal members. Branchayo, thank you very much. Professor Pastor Afolabi Obatunde, thank you very much. Professor Bolaji Gola, thank you very much. Are there other council members that are here? Well, I don't think so. No, I want to have before I come there. Now, Professor Okwola, thank you very much. The council, well, before you have Professor Okunwole, thank you very much. The registrar, who is also the secretary of council, Akowe Council, who have been writing for us. God bless, thank you very much. The nursing posa, you allow me to talk more about that. Please permit me. If I don't do it, I will my conscience now to She has helped me a lot to manage the financial resources of the university. I call it my guru. We are attending the same church. When I got here about almost 6 years ago, it was top of war. I was a DMC, and so she hasn't got what it is to be here. But I pray, I said this God's will, let her here. Today, she has one of the most important assets to me during my 5 years ago. I don't imagine if I didn't have by my side, if I have somebody who's not faithful. Money comes to money matter. Both the BC and Bosa can fight. And I knew what happened with FUNAP and some other university. But I want to say this, she has been faithful, very hardworking, very dogged, very fearless, God-fearing. She's also a pastor. And I thank God that we journey for 5 years. We now be completed with that. And I have documented that in my book, for what she has done. Whatever you are seeing today, we have achieved in the improvement in our idea of 10%. I want you to give it to God and her. I can't fight. He said, okay, you can't spend this money. Oh, you can't spend this money. I need the vice chancellor. He said, I know you have got financial regulation. The village said that our financial regulation. I said, okay, go ahead. I don't want to go there. Because accountants are dangerous, deadly people. With due respect. If they ask you don't go there, if you go there, you're your own. When the parliament called I told you now, you should not go there. But I thank God for her life. She has been very consistent, very bold, very helpful, very faithful, very loyal. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank everybody that is here today. But I also beg and I think that today is just one of the days. There's going to be a book launch on Wednesday. The chief lawyer, Mr. Shem Adebius, the MD of First Bank. And then we're going to have awards to some of our colleagues who have done excellently well. On Thursday, which is the day I'm going to showcase my end of tenure report and valedictory speech. I want you to also be there. Lastly, on Saturday, we are going to have our convocation ceremony that will everything will close up the thing. So I want to thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen, our guests, our pressmen. I want to thank you very much. God bless you. Sorry. My librarian is there. It's a brand new librarian. Maybe that's where I'm from. This Dr. Lobode Olajide is a new librarian. And I tell you one thing I like about her, very quiet, but very brilliant. She competed with professors and she came for Sunday. It's from Ekiti. He's from Ekiti. And as I knew, I stood up and I went to him. I said, okay, so you are good like this. All this while you don't prove it. When we are planning for accreditation university in the library, he said, okay, I'm not the librarian. I'm just the deputy. Then fine. So when I said, look, you must get that job. And that he did excellent. He came first. He came first. And so I want to thank you very much. God bless you, my brother. So I want you to support you gave me. I also want everybody to give it to Joshua Wole. And I'll be coming once in a while. I'm not running anywhere. I'm not running away. Don't forget, I was in staff of university before becoming vice chancellor. The way God directs my path, it's only God that will lead. And I know God will lead me to a very fruitful path. In Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A round of applause for Mr. Vice Chancellor with the slogan God wins. As you can see, God wins. Okay, information reaching me is that members of the governing council should wait after this event, and there will be a photograph to keep in remembrance of this event. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let me recognize our ever stand well ICT team for putting a brilliant outing today. If not for them, this program would have been televised tonight. We appreciate you, led by Engineer Samson, Bureau Director, ICT Federal University, Oye-Ekiti. To this end, ladies and gentlemen, with the express permission of Mr. Vice Chancellor, shall we rise for the first stanza of We and
Arise and shine, ye tide of light, Federal University, Oye-Ekiti, show the way of excellence, show the way of vision, is redeemed. Arise, arise and shine.
National anthem.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to this press briefing. Wishing you safe journey to your different destination. To this end, our council members are to shortly after this program, and there will be group photo to keep alive the memories of this event. Thank you. We recognize our ever standard professional and administrative staff, the deputy registrars here. Thank you all for coming. Of the press, thank you for availing us your presence. Wishing you safe journey to your different station.